Can you all see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yes.
see and hear you fine.
Perfect. Woo! It's been too long since I put on a fursuit. I was like, I'm actually suited up today. That's been a while. All right. I think I can get started. All right. Sound good? Hello. Are you out there? Anybody?
Yes.
I hear you. I see you.
Cool. All right. So what I'm gonna do, we're starting off Fursuit this year. It's a little bit ironic because usually when I go to Fursuit, I'm usually the photographer, not the fursuiter. So this year I'm in my fursuit. So that's how things happen, I guess. Today's panel is going to be a panel that I've been doing for the past, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years now at conventions. And so I'm going to do a version of it here today. You guys are free to participate. If anybody has a fursuit, you're welcome to pop up your video. There'll be some opportunities for people to participate. Or if you just want to, you don't have to be in fursuit. But I may ask for some volunteers later on here. So is this everyone's first time coming to this panel?
I actually have to go. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Sorry, I have to go.
Do you guys currently have fursuits, or you're thinking about getting one?
I've got one already.
Cool. All right. Well, this will just be some general concepts, and we'll see if we can figure out a way to do some improv on this. But my name is Beagle. I have been I've been to conventions for a while. I'll just say my first convention was Anthrocon 2004. And so over the years, I got into fursuit, and at first I was actually really shy. And I didn't think that I was ever going to be fursuiting. I just was kind of afraid of the characters at first because I couldn't really see their expressions. So for me, it was just odd to see it, but it was interesting. And the way that I kind of got started at first was I just started hanging around with people that did fursuit, and then I became a fursuit spotter. And then eventually somebody had brought an extra fursuit, and they said, "Hey, do you want to wear one?" And I made this mistake of saying maybe. So that is why I have been doing this for a while. So what I want to do in these panels is be able to just offer the experience that I've had doing these, and trying to share some of those techniques with you. So, all right. So the first thing I usually do, there we got one. So the first thing that we usually do to start off our panel is we usually just do some stretches. I'll just trust you, some of you there, being honest, but nothing in particular other than I do try to. I gotta learn my environment here. But usually I just kind of like lift my arms up and try to stretch them behind my back a little bit. And then I just try to roll my shoulders. So you can roll your shoulders there if you like. And then just try to bend the knees a little bit. Try to get those loose and limber. And the reason why I'm doing these things is because when I'm going to be out in fursuit a lot or for a while, I just can end up wearing my body out a little bit more if I don't kind of just relax and do a couple little exercises. So, stretch the tail. Try to touch your paws if you can. I've got a table in the way, so I have an excuse. So, all right. So the way that I'm going to start is I'm going to talk about basic character movement, and I'm curious. Do we have any humans out there that are willing to be on camera? You can say no, or you could say yes. Okay. Well, let's see. I can't quite see your name, but the other fursuiter there, you're gonna help me out here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pretend like we're human. So I just need you to sit up and just kind of put your arms right on your side here. And you can see that I guess I kind of look a little bit closed up, a little bit tight. It doesn't really work with the character here. But now we're gonna lift our arms up just a little bit. We're gonna lift them up, perk them up a little bit, raise their shoulders a little bit. And now, if I was a human, I kind of probably look pretty silly right now. But as a character, this kind of works. And there's a couple reasons for that. But one of them is, for example, right now I have a little bit more material that's, I'm wearing like about an inch of material both ways here. So if I'm just leaving my arms like I normally would, I look a lot more closed up if I just give myself a little bit room. So I'm just trying to get my character to like open up a little bit and feel more open. I can't show my legs right now, but it would be the same way. If I'm just standing like normal, it's again, it doesn't look as good as for a fursuit if you just bring your legs out a little bit, maybe bend your knees a little bit, and then you look more animated, more like a cartoon character, because you're not going to see many cartoon characters just standing like this. And in a way, we're portraying that type of, think of yourself almost as a cartoon character and how you're standing, even if you're wearing a realistic suit, because I don't think you just always want to necessarily look like you're closed up. So that's just some general principles. Does that make sense? Any questions so far? I have to learn where the camera is on this thing. All right. So this will be interesting. So the next thing that we're going to talk about, let's see. So in these classes, I do a lot of improv. I'm trying to figure out how to do that here. So we're learning on the fly. But let's see. So it looks like, are you a cat there? I can't quite see. Excuse me. What type of animal are you on the video? Is it a dog? I really can't see. Give me a hint. Oh. You look like a puppers. I see the snout now. Do I get it right? Close? I see little dragon horns. Not if you hear me.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you. What animal are you?
I'm a cat dragon. I'm Kit.
Ah, see it, cat, and then I saw the horns. All right, so what we're going to try here is we're going to communicate back and forth, but we're going to communicate in our natural tongue. Okay, so I'm obviously a dog, I think, and you'll be your cat dragon. So let's have a conversation for just a few seconds here together. Okay, ready? Arf, arf.
Arf.
Bow, wow, wow,
Arf.
wow. Ow! Ow! I'm a beagle. That's to be annoying. Wait, I talk. Ow! Okay, that's it for a moment. So now we're going to try to communicate, but we're going to switch each other's speech. So you're going to talk like me, and now I'm going to talk like you. You ready?
Okay.
So, row!
Arf. Arf. Arf.
Ow!
Arf.
Row!
Arf.
Okay, you make a better dog than I do, and I'm never going to be a cat dragon, apparently. So this was an example of using your traits, your sounds as a part of your character. So so one of the good things to do, for example, I had created a goat character for a little while. That really worked out well. But when I was trying to figure out what sounds goats made, so I ended up watching a lot of YouTube videos while listening to them because I was driving up to Anthrocon and I had just finished the character like an hour before we got into the car. So my wife was playing goat sounds, and for 4 hours I was just practicing different goat sounds. And I think we were about an hour away from Anthrocon when I figured out the best way to do the sound was to actually stick my tongue out when I was doing it, and it sounded a lot more natural. Because if I just went bah, it wasn't sounding like the videos. But when I did bah, 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 it sounded a lot closer to what we were hearing. But then that was kind of a mistake because at Anthrocon my voice was all I had already lost my voice because I was practicing for hours in the car. But that is an example of try to incorporate animal sounds that you're going to do into your character and listen to try to imitate as best you can those sounds so that you can use those when you're acting in your character. All right, any questions there? All right. So the next thing I want to talk about quickly is choosing character traits. So when you start getting into this, you want to think about how you want to portray yourself as a character. Sorry you see the clips up here. I threw this together quick. But you want to think about and when I was doing it, it took me a little while to figure out like how I wanted to portray myself. Now, some people when they're creating characters, they're creating they're trying to create someone else, but I had a kind of a problem because I was just always myself. Although what I found is, as being the character and practicing, I ended up becoming more of an outgoing version of myself, which then did actually then translate back once the suit was off. But so as I was practicing that, I end up kind of honing in on a few traits that I wanted to do as my character to express myself, but more particularly my character. And I would say try to limit it to about, that looks like 3 fingers. So try to limit to about 3 things that you could define yourself as being, just to keep it simple. I mean, you can expand from that. But I think my main traits are being energetic, being funny and silly, and just being kind. And so those are kind of the 3 main principles that I try to do in everything that I'm doing, and when I portray this character. So let's see, what else do I have here? So I think I'm ready to move to the next section. I just want to talk about that real quickly. But now I want to talk about kind of your emotions. So how do I want to do this? So I'm going to use you again as my example over there, Mr. Or Mrs. Cat Dragon. And if anybody else wants to pop on, you can do that as well. But what we're going to do is we need somebody to what's an emotion? What is something that you would want to portray as a character, for example, happy, silly, something like that. But give me an example.
Hunger.
Someone. Hunger? Hungry?
Yeah, hunger.
So you hunger. So our fursuiter companion here, can you give us that trait? Can you be hungry? Ah. So he's pointing to his is it he? Am I correct? I don't want to guess. I will just say the character is showing that they are hungry. So I would probably I would do something pretty similar. Let's give me another personality example, or another emotional example. Sorry. Someone. I know
Excited.
you guys. What? Excited. Okay, can you do excited for me? We'll both do excited. We both got the arms going. All right. Let's do one more. Can we throw out one more example for us, Kim? Hello. I know you're out there. Give us one more example. We're waiting. We are
frightened.
Waiting. What is that?
How about frightened?
Fragrant. Okay. You went to the convention, but you did not shower.
Frightened.
Oh, what's
No,
that?
frightened.
Oh, I heard fragrant. Okay, we're gonna be frightened. You ready? Frightened. Oh, I like it. He's ducking his head in. All right, I'll do that too. All right, so thank you very much. And thank you for giving us examples to work with. I appreciate it. So, what we're doing here is we're trying to portray different emotions. We're obviously using something called pantomime in this case, but which is just showing them traits or emotions without using words. But so these are examples of different emotions that you could use. You know, happy, sad, and you want to think and maybe practice some of those. You know, you see them in a lot of cartoons, but also being a parent now and having an 18-month-old, I have learned that I have to use a lot of pantomime tricks to kind of communicate with them, and you know, but show emotions like what being happy is and what being sad is and being surprised. So I'm having to do a lot more of that as a parent than I expected, which is good because I had practiced, you know, doing that as a fursuiter. So, but and then another thing is too is the way that you design your character or have it built is you're gonna choose kind of the expressions and the personality that you're gonna want to have in that character. So, you know, for example, there's some really cool suits out there with, you know, big gnarly teeth and like these different types of angry expressions. So, you know, if you're always just happy and bouncing around and playful, it might be a little bit confusing for the character that you're trying to play. But in those cases, you might be more sneaky and stealthy and, you know, doing, you know, going around and having fun in that way. And then you can have, I mean, doesn't mean you always have to be that way, but just in the way that you portray your character. I've tried to make myself look kind of more cartoony. And actually the original head when this was made had like these smaller, narrower eyes. And it was okay, but I wanted the character to be more silly, more playful, and show that more off. So the way that I ended up doing that was building bigger eyes for the character. Due in part because I destroyed the original eyes going out in snow and rolling around like a dog, which was a lot of fun, but I definitely destroyed the ink in the paint and ink in those eyes. So, but that was good because, you know, then I built new eyes and eventually I'll end up building a new head, I imagine, but I'll still want to have that happy, like bright-eyed look to the world, like, because I'm always just running around like a kid, and that's the way I want to portray the character. Any questions there? I'm assuming no. There aren't any. Okay. So now we talked a little bit about pantomime. I've seen and another weird example of pantomime where you're speaking without using words is a lot of the cartoons that or shows that my kid watches now. They do a lot of pantomime because they're trying to show the kid what exactly they need to do. So, you know, so they'll be hi, you know, but they'll just use those gestures and they're really trying to communicate those things and hungry, you know, point to your mouth or things like that. So, but those skills are obviously used in a lot of acting. You know, a cool example too, if you want to see some real great examples of pantomime, is old silent movies relied on gestures a lot. So I end up watching some old movies with my wife, Buster Keaton and things like that, and it's just interesting to see that without being able to use words to do a story, how they needed to use their body and those emotions that we were talking about before to communicate. And same thing with kids videos, is how they have to really rely on that. And the best way to do that is just practice, but to interact with people. But just think, even we're all stuck at home right now, so think about how you would communicate something to somebody without saying words. And just try practicing some of that. Like you're running fast. You can't hear somebody. Speak up. And I don't have any other examples offhand, but it's just all those things that are things that you would want to say, but if you couldn't say them, how would you say that with your body, your hands, your expression? Any questions? He's doing it. He's doing it. He's learned. I'm going to graduate you to the next class here. I don't have one, but if I did, this one's learning. Look at, he's still doing it. All right. So those are examples of pantomime. He said no, and then he clapped it, and then he clearly said that he's going to offer me cheeseburgers. So give me your cheese. I do expect delivery of cheese from all of you at the end of this class. So the other thing, though, is how to speak in Fursuit. So my wife is much better at pantomime than I am, in a sense, because I cannot keep my mouth shut. I can't. I've tried, but I had to make this mouth move because I can't stop talking. I can't do it. I can't stop. I can't do it. But that was just a part of myself. So when I started fursuiting, I played with I actually tried to do some different voices because I'm like, I should try. I just experimented. I mean, you could practice in something like this. You could practice in front of a mirror and just kind of listen to yourself, or you can just go out when we're all able to one day and make a fool of yourself until you find something that actually works for your character. I don't know. I did not know how to speak. I was trying like different accents, and I don't know what I was doing. But what I found worked best for me was basically just take my own voice and just raise it up a little bit. Mostly because I'm speaking through like 75 inches of foam here, it seems. So I need you to be able to hear me. But to do that, I just kind of raised the pitch of my voice a little bit. I promise, if I was next to you right now, I wouldn't be yelling at you. I wouldn't be. Maybe I wouldn't. But so that's what I have to do, and that worked for me. And then when I had my goat character, I just kind of, I'm still finding the voice in the goat, but I know how to make the sound. So that's an example. And when I first joined the fandom, I found a lot of fursuiters that did not speak. And there was even this weird like stigma around speaking as a character. And I didn't really understand it. Even before I was fursuiting, I didn't understand why characters couldn't speak to me. But I realized later on that the role models that we were looking at, when we go to different places, like baseball games or Disney World or stuff like that, those characters can't speak to you. But there's a reason. The reason is because that character, that person's voice isn't going to match that character consistently. Because remember, they got to cycle different people through that character. So even if you get one person that can do a voice really well for that character, the next person that wears that character probably can't do it the same way. And then you also have to worry about, are the things they're going to say going to match the character that they've branded and put all this money into? So there's a lot of reasons why companies do not want characters to speak in person. But what you're doing here is you're creating your own character. And when we're talking about choosing sounds and choosing how you emote and things like that, all of these things are a part of the character that you're creating. So the voice and what you say is a part of your character. And you have every right to define yourself speaking. So don't be afraid to talk. But, again, if your voice isn't going to match the character that you're trying to portray, rely more on pantomime and sound effects. And then, if you are going to speak, keep in mind what you say, because you may not want to be a happy-go-lucky, cheesy character and then spit out a string of words that you've never thought would come from me at all, which may be spoken at other times, but not when I'm in character. So, but keep those things in mind. All right. I've learned how to be very dramatic on Zoom. This is great. I can make a point very, very well by just staring at you. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Have I scared anybody away yet? Can someone make a sound just so I know you're alive?
Hello.
Yay! All right. Alive. Sweet. All right.
Since we're doing this, since we're doing a virtual thing here, I wanted to see. I'm not trying. I don't want to interrupt. I just want to see if this works. See, without knocking you out of this thing here. So.
Well,
there you go. Can you see me?
I can see you.
A little bit of virtual fursuiting.
Oh, okay. I see what's after. Perfect.
Yeah, you just got to hit watch stream and we can see your face rig.
My phone just dinged. What is that? Okay. I have to be careful because at some point my brother's coming over for a real barbecue. He knows I do this, but I probably shouldn't scare him too much. All right, so let's see. I'm watching the phone. He's not here. I told him not to come until later. So we've gone through all these. Now, at this point in the class, and this is going to be probably impossible to do, but a lot of the things that we can do it's improv. Everything you're doing in character is you're improving. You are reacting to your environment, to the people around you, and right now I'm having to figure out how to use Zoom to do this. So it's all improv. But one of the fun things, and I that I usually do in my class is I usually do a round of party quirks. Now there's only two of us, so it's not going to be easy to do. But I think what we'll do is me and my cat dragon here will pretend that we are a party guest at a socially distanced party right now. And, we're each going to choose our own trait, and you're going to have to guess it. And I'm going to think of something. Do you have anything in mind, cat dragon? Do you have a trait you would like to do there? All right, I'm going to give you 3, and we're going to guess it. So, myself included. So, if you can figure out what trait this character is trying to portray, so it's going to be basically like like an emotion trait. Usually in this class, about 50 people choose being on fire. We're going to try not doing that trait today. So, no being on fire. You cannot be on fire in the virtual class because I've got no way of putting you out. But, all right. So we're gonna do just one. He'll do one. The cat dragon will do one, and then I'll do one. So cat dragon, give us you're coming to the party. What trait would you like? What? Welcome to the party, cat dragon. Happy go lucky. You're a bobblehead. You're on fire.
You're fabulous.
You're fabulous. Hey, good job. That was not my guess. Good job. Whoever spoke there. All right. Okay, wait. Now I'm on the spot. Now I need to come up with one. I'll be right back.
Are you getting food?
Close enough. I was making food for the barbecue.
I was about to say, cooking.
Oh, wait.
Oh, now you're on fire.
Now you're on fire.
You got it! I was trying to think how to do it. All right, how to tie it in. All right, so that will be part of it for today. But good job. Thank you for guessing and for participating on that part. So the next thing we're going to talk about is... I got to get it.
A sinking beetle.
It was true. You got it. That's because I was thinking about props. Although this has been behind the camera the whole time, and I've been staring at it. It's just been making me hungry. And I'm actually going to be smoking ribs later and having hot dogs and burgers. So, very hungry. So what I'm talking about here is choosing a prop. For example, you may want to have a prop for your character. Originally, when I created Cheese Beagle, I pretty much just went off the dog premise and just did whatever prop. I would pick up dog toys at the store, basically, and they were always food related. And one of the first ones I had was a hot dog, and I went to a convention, and it was a dog toy, and somebody had a dog, and I was squeaking the toy, and well, the dog took it from me. So, and it was fine. It wasn't a big deal, but it was telling me it wasn't the right prop per se. Funny enough, yeah, he absolutely mauled that hot dog. That's as far as I'll say with this crowd. But that was done, and the squeaker in that hot dog is in my tail. True story. So I always remember that dog. But I mean, we tried a couple different things. Sometimes I would just walk around with something silly, like me and my wife would walk around with she had a platypus that she had bought. But that was like I forget what brand it was, but it was like a $45 stuffed animal. And that was a mistake because somebody started playing with it. And when we got back to the hotel room, we found bite marks on the beak because they had literally put the stuffed animal's beak in their mouth and bit on it. So we learned a lesson there, not to bring expensive props or things that we don't want to lose. And then I did eventually choose a cheeseburger as my, because it was just one of the toys that was in the bin. And I think I was at further confusion. And I think that cheeseburger still lives there somewhere because I never found it again. But it was only like about this big, So I realized that if I'm going to have a prop, it needs to be large enough where I am able to retrieve it. So that's why I found a large cheeseburger. I actually didn't make this. I found this on Amazon. I've since put squeakers in here. But and the other thing I've learned is in Fursuit, my vision isn't as good, and I apparently can't really see this color, but I can see these. So I often lose this. But you know what? It has always come back to me. People seem, and now I can't seem to go out to conventions. If I walk around without my cheeseburger, the first thing, it's usually, you can't even walk 3 steps in the convention where somebody's like, "Where's your cheeseburger?" So choose your prop wisely because it may become associated with you. But that's the good thing. Because whenever I'm walking around at conventions, the easiest way to interact with the fursuiter isn't necessarily just to walk up and just be like, or hey, or just, And sometimes they're talking in a circle, and I do it too when I'm talking with people. But the easiest way to break up or to try to start that communication is offer them a prop or throw it at them. Oh, I luckily didn't knock over the camera.
I couldn't find my cookie.
Ah, cookies. So yeah, and then if another character has a prop, it's really cool to be able to trade props and then choose different ways to interact with that prop. So for example, let's see if I can find. Well, let's see. So at this point during a class, I usually pass around a couple props and we try to have them use it. So, but I passed around my cheeseburger, and there's only like 3 things this thing ever turns into. 1, a cheeseburger. 2, a steering wheel. And 3, a cheeseburger. So, but
what about a frisbee?
I'll toss this
A
around.
UFO?
What's that?
A UFO.
I might be able to do that.
Or a frisbee.
Aha! There you go. See, you guys are thinking. You're already starting to see this as a different object. So, or I could have. So these things I bought, and both my cats and my kid hate these. So I keep these on shelves where I don't want them to touch anything because they never go near them. But so these are chickens, but they could also be, I don't know, earrings. It could be we got another one here. They could be weird horns.
Car
Maybe.
Horns.
I'm not gonna be a unicorn. You're cutesy. Do you have a prop, Cat Dragon? Do you have a prop over there?
I have a cookie, but I can't find it.
Okay.
Wait,
is that
apparently
blue
I'm being
raccoon
brought a
I see?
prop.
Oh, okay. Well, wait. We'll give you Blue Raccoon. Do you have a prop? Does the raccoon here? Are you a raccoon?
Hey, Trash Panda. Dozer.
I think they can probably see and hear about as well as I can. All right. Do you have your prop?
Somebody calling me?
No, they're calling me. Hello, can you hear me?
There we go.
Does anybody have a prop at their house? If you have a house, you have a prop.
I have an apartment, sir.
They're looking. We'll do this for one more minute and then we'll move on. But I believe in you to find a prop in that house. What is that? Oh. Well, now you're a unicorn.
Tiny road cone.
Unfortunately, I have an apartment that is 90% in boxes right now.
So you have box props.
I do.
If you fit, you ship.
Um.
All right. Oh, there he goes. He's. See, this is already fun. We'll just play with props the whole time. But okay. Hello. Well, you could use it as a megaphone if you turn it around. A little teeny megaphone. Kind of defeats the purpose of it. All right, very good. So, the other last thing about props is, remember, anything in your environment is a prop. And especially if you're at a convention, I'll usually, like when I'm walking around before I suit up, I'll kind of eyeball like interesting chairs or interesting seats or different things that I might be able to get photos with or interact with. So anything the whole world is your stage, really, the whole world. And in a way, other characters are props that you can interact with. Don't just run up to them and start using them as a prop. That might not be the best thing to do. But the way that you interact with your environment, it gives you opportunities to have fun and just be yourself and be your character. And you're going to be able to use props and your environment in a way that you wouldn't be able to do as a human per se. If I wasn't wearing this and I started like in the middle of a hotel, just started like rolling around on some chairs, I'm pretty sure security would be called on me in a very short order. Like, but if I do that as my character, I have that opportunity to act as a kid and just be silly and be funny and use my environment as a prop, or use my props as props. I have one more prop, actually. I got my little... What? You mean I stole one of my kid toys and I'm using it as a prop? What? This thing is cool. It's got a steering wheel. It's got a shifter. Toy is mine now. Don't worry, there's toys laying all over my house. So, all right. I'm go ahead and move on from props unless anybody has any questions about that. Oh, you've got a steering wheel down. Oh, you found, well, you got a donut? It doesn't matter, it's the steering wheel now. Perfect. All right. Oh, you can't steer anymore. You ate your prop. You ate your steering wheel. He's gonna crash. You're gonna crash. Oh, he'll be all right. They'll be all right. I'm sure. All right. So, let's see. The next thing I want to handle very quickly is dancing. Or just general events at conventions. Dancing is becoming a popular one. I have done some freestyle dancing against some pretty decent characters before, but I mean, not these days. These days, people are way too good at it. But if I was, I'm not going to be competing in any competitions. But if you go to like the raves or anything like that, those are always a lot of fun. The Fursuit dance was what they're called. I would just say do it. Like, even if you're shy, like I was to begin with. Like, I was super shy. And the first thing I did when I was in Fursuit is I walked right up to the dance floor. And I pointed at one person and we started dancing. And I was able to keep up with them for a little while until he started doing donkey kicks. And that was Chapo Dog. And I found out he had been professionally trained, so that was the wrong person to point to. But that was a lot of fun. I mean, you just end up moving your body with the music, and you can't do anything wrong because you're a character. So even if you mess up, you look silly and great doing it. So just
social armor.
It is, and then I mean, I've done a couple.
You're so uncoordinated, you fall down.
If you fall down, you're meant to do it. Just get on back up. But the funny thing is, like, I remember I went to a convention and I've been going to the dances for a while, but we ended up going to the Hard Rock Cafe, and there was music playing out there in front of there was a fountain, and me and one of my Fursuit buddies, we just started dancing with a couple random people. People just started dancing. We're just being silly and goofy, and I'm just like, wait, I'm not wearing my fursuit right now. But you know what? It felt natural. It looked weird, but it felt natural. So the one thing though is when you're fursuiting, just try to recognize when you are overheating, because I mean, I get excited, but once I start feeling like the heat really getting like the back of my neck, I know it's time to get in and take a break, and then you cool down for a bit, and then you go back and do it again. So, but don't try to overexert yourself when you're dancing. When it's if you feel you need to sit down or take a break, get off the dance floor and get a drink of water and do it all again. But yeah, I still have one friend that fursuits in her deer. She's actually a better dancer, but she's still kind of shy. But we switched fursuits one time, and I took her character on the dance floor, and now there's some video of it, and now she feels more comfortable because people think she can actually, dance, and now she does a little bit better. So I showed her how to wiggle her butt. Gotta wiggle the butt. All right. And then I think one of the last things I want to talk about is the parade. So if you go to a convention, one of the things that I would suggest doing is doing the parades. Depending what convention you go to, it's often called the March of Death. But the reason for that is it can be hot. So you want to think about how you want to exert yourself during that, because because you need enough stamina to walk for 10 or 15 minutes in your fursuit and potentially outside. So what I try to do and to be nowadays there's depending what convention you go to, there can be hundreds or 1,000 fursuits in that crowd. So I just try to stand out a little bit by just thinking about what do I want to do that's easy that I can repeat through that parade. Some people bring music, which is cool because then they can kind of just tap and dance with it. I'll have my cheeseburger. So one of the things that I often do while I'm walking, it doesn't take much energy. I just walk and I'll wave and then I'll offer my cheeseburger to the crowd. But I'm not going to give my cheeseburger. And then I get a lot of people that will leave going, oh, no, what are you doing? And then I keep walking. Or I'll have, a friend or my wife with me, and I'll offer them my props. So they're tasting it. And it's just something to break it up a little bit so you're not just marching, that you're giving them a little piece of your character and acting as your character as you're going along. As long as you can do that without stopping, because you don't want to slow the line behind you. The only thing is at Anthrocon, it's cool because we've been doing a parade outside and there's a bunch of people that want to give you high fives, and we'll see how that works in the future. But that's, I'm a sucker for giving people high fives in the crowd. But, you just do a step, high five, next step. You just keep going. But I give every little kid a high five. I love that so much. Maybe one day we'll do that again. Right now, they're just going to give us something, but that's okay. Any questions? At this point in my panel, I would usually have everybody do a parade. That's not going to be easy here. But so for the few of us that are here, I just need you to parade around your house a little, or just whatever you want to do. We're just going to take a minute. If anybody's got some music so we don't look completely silly, we can do that now. But I'm going to just go ahead and we're going to wave. And then there'll be one more thing to talk about, and then I'm going to let you guys go. So we're going to have to do a parade. Okay, you ready?
You got that, kid, or you want me to get it?
You going to give us some music? Ooh, going to get some music?
Is it not coming through?
Not yet. Judging you.
Getting something
I hear
there.
something. All right. Time to march. All right, go. Okay. Parade's over. Very good. Thank you so much. Music does help because it's something that you can interact with, emotionally. All right, I have one more thing, and then we're going to get out of here. I just want to talk to you quickly about pictures. So when I'm not fursuiting, I've gotten into photography. We're not going to talk too much about that, but it's an interesting perspective because I both have had to learn how to have pictures taken of me and how to take pictures of fursuiters. That'd be a whole nother class, perhaps. But the biggest tips I just want to give you about having photos taken of you when you're out in an environment one day is when I first started, I didn't understand the fact that you have to stop moving long enough for them to take the photo. So somebody would be like, hey, can I get your photo? And I'm like, sure, bye. So I had to learn to stop moving for a second and allow them to take that picture. And then the other thing is, especially for like group photos, and again, something we can't really put an example here, but if I'm in a picture, let's assume I'm in the shot, but there's another person in the picture as well, we're going to assume that's a head. But if I do this, and I put my hands up, or if I'm not aware of the people that are around me, I can end up blocking their pictures. So you just want to be cognizant. In big group photos too, something I've learned being short is that it always seems like the tallest person in the world stands in front of me. So if you can't see the camera can't see you. But an easy way to do that, they'll often be in a line, but you can either try to shift a little bit left or right. But if not, you can take a step back because that allows you to be better seen. It's just take a little step back so that your face can be seen, and that's how you can overcome being behind a taller person. But and just from a photographer perspective, don't be shy to ask a fursuiter for a picture, because we like photographic evidence of us being out in the wild. So you'll often find, because there's the sneaky shooter where they're trying to get you, but and I've done that too. But oftentimes, if you just ask, "Can I take a picture of you?" they'll be more than willing to stop for a moment and allow you to take a picture, and then they would love you to share that picture with them if possible. If you post it somewhere, because again, we love pictures, we love videos, we love to see our characters out there. Because it's a reminder of, yeah, we did that thing. That's what we look like. That's fun. That's why we're doing it. We want the photos. Someone take a screenshot. All right, so that's pretty much all I have for the panel. Does anybody have any questions?
Now?
We can. All right, we will pose for a final picture here. Thank you, everybody, for attending today. This is my first time doing a Zoom panel, so thanks for bearing with me on this. But I believe Boozy's on next, so thanks for
attending. Pose now.
All right, goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you for coming. See you later. I'll figure this out.
Silver Gatoman, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gatoman, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gatoman, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.